From the Chattahoochee Tech Studio, welcome to the Marietta Daily Journal Podcast. Today is Tuesday, March 21st, and happy 61st birthday to Rosie O'Donnell.
It's the Rosie O'Donnell Show.
I'm Dan Ratcliffe, and here are your top stories presented by Credit Union of Georgia. Jerica Richardson outlined the Little Brazil branding for the Powers Ferry corridor. An Ackworth girl got to live out her Disney dreams. And the community has rallied around the Marietta Book Nook to keep it open. Plus, we sit down with MDJ sports editor John Bednarowski as he takes us on a tour around Augusta National ahead of the Masters, presented by Ingles. We'll have all this and more coming up on the Marietta Daily Journal Podcast.
You deserve better than your bank. Better service, better rates, better solutions. If you live or work in Cobb County, now is the perfect time to make the switch to Credit Union of Georgia, the better way to bank. Since 1960, Credit Union of Georgia has been providing Northwest Georgia with financial solutions that make sense for your home, business, and family. As a homegrown, not-for-profit cooperative, our members are our mission. Not only will you get the best loan rates, you'll get personalized customer service from people who understand your needs. Plus, Credit Union of Georgia provides real convenience with a network of more than 30,000 accessible ATMs and branch locations across the country. Of course, there's also 5 locations right here in Cobb County. Ready to see how much better your banking can be with Credit Union of Georgia? Become a member today or apply for a loan online by visiting cuofga.org. Credit Union of Georgia, the better way to bank.
Engineered Solutions of Georgia. We guarantee a stable, dry foundation. With over 30 years of experience and a lifetime of support, residential and commercial. Hey, we do it all. For basement waterproofing and repairs to your foundation. Dial 678 ESOG now.
The area of Delk, Powers Ferry, and Terrell Mill roads in Marietta is becoming known as Little Brazil due to its growing community of Brazilian restaurants, businesses, and residents. Over 50 people recently gathered to discuss how to turn the area into a county-recognized cultural destination, complete with a Little Brazil logo, signage, and a Brazilian Cultural Association. The community, which has grown rapidly since the 1990s, has become an integral part of the larger Marietta community, contributing to its vitality. Commissioner Jerica Richardson has allocated $50,000 to a capital fund for Little Brazil, and residents are excited to finally be recognized. Seven-year-old Dakota, who has DiGeorge Syndrome, was one of 13 children chosen for the 20th Bert's Big Adventure trip to Disney World, an all-expenses-paid trip for children with chronic illnesses and their families. Dakota's aunt nominated her for the trip, and she was selected this year. The trip offers the children the opportunity to bond and enjoy everything the parks have to offer without feeling left out among healthy children. Bert's Big Adventure was started by Bert Weiss, who was inspired by Kidd's Kids, a similar trip started by the late radio host Kidd Kraddick in the early 1990s. The Marietta Book Nook was reported to be closing due to financial losses during the pandemic, but the store's loyal customers rallied and helped keep it open. Manager Alexa Dunford said the community's donations and support have been life-affirming and faith-restoring, and the store will continue operating through the summer and hopefully beyond. The store's inventory reflects the community's interests, and programs are being planned to engage local writers, artists, and musicians. The Marietta location has reduced its hours, but is open for private browsing by appointment and is offering a 50% off sale on most items.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Hundreds of Kennesaw State University students and fans gathered in the Convocation Center to watch the Owls play in March Madness, the university's first Division I appearance. Cowbells were given to fans to increase the excitement as the crowd cheered the team on, with some fans even dancing during halftime. Although the game came down to the final seconds, the Owls ultimately lost to the Xavier Musketeers. Fans left the building disappointed, but still proud of their team's performance. Debbie Ganocchio, Development Director at Sweetwater Mission in Austell, was named the 2023 Woman of the Year at Live Safe Resources' 38th Annual Tribute to Achievement. The Marietta-based domestic violence shelter and organization honored 14 other outstanding women from throughout Metro Atlanta before a crowd of more than 450 at the Renaissance Waverly Hotel in Cumberland. Ganocchio was selected by an independent committee who reviewed each nominee without names or specific identifying information. A total of 15 women representing the business, medical, education, government, and nonprofit sectors were selected to join the organization's Academy of Women Leaders, a group of more than 600 past honorees.
In Georgia, the weather never ceases to do unpredictable things. Peace of mind should be top of mind where it comes to your heating and cooling system. Dakota Systems has 3 generations of experience with HVAC excellence they've shared with Cobb County and the greater Metro Atlanta area. Dakota Systems has been family-owned and operated since they started out, and Dean Yarrington has built their business into what it is today through policies of honesty, responsiveness, and attention to the needs of customers. The Dakota Systems team is equipped with the knowledge, tools, products, and over 4 decades of experience that help them get each job done right the first time, and they back that up with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Along with exceptional service, Dakota Systems provides free estimates on new heating and AC installations, and you can reach them after hours when you have an HVAC emergency. Get peace of mind. Call Dakota Systems today at 770-209-2261 or visit them online at dacosystems.com. Dakota Systems, a premier trained comfort specialist. Now through April 30th, get a preseason air conditioning tune-up for the first unit for $69.95 and $39.95 for additional units. Call Daco.
Get your tickets today for the Georgia Food and Wine Festival, March 24th through the 26th at Jim R. Miller Park in Marietta. The Georgia Food and Wine Festival will celebrate the best of Georgia in the South, from its culinary superstars and beverage experts to farmers, artisans, live musicians, and more. For more information and to buy tickets, head to GeorgiaFoodAndWineFestival.com. The Georgia Food and Wine Festival at Marietta's Jim R. Miller Park, March 24th through the 26th.
2 glasses of wine, Mo.
Wine? Geez, no one ever orders that. Well, I got this old stuff here. Chateau Latour, 1886. I should just throw this out.
The Georgia Food and Wine Festival will showcase the best of Georgia. Here's community reporter Matt Golden with more.
The second annual Georgia Food and Wine Festival, presented by Georgia Grown, will celebrate the best of Georgia and the South, from its culinary superstars and beverage experts to farmers, artisans, live musicians, and more, from March 23rd through the 26th. The festival takes place at Marietta's Jim R. Miller Park. A variety of events to tantalize all the taste buds begins with the Best of Cobb celebration on Thursday, March 23rd from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Best of Cobb will showcase the county's favorite businesses and service providers. Hosted by Cobb Life Magazine and the Marietta Daily Journal, the event is partnered with the festival. Tickets are sold directly by the event and can be purchased at mdjonline.com/CobbLife/best-of. General admission tickets are $20 and VIP are $70. More than 460,000 votes were tallied in last year's Reader Decide contest. For more on this story, please go to mdjonline.com. For the Marietta Daily Journal Podcast, I'm Matt Golden.
Arthur Wilson, who owns Silica Burns Glass, demonstrated the art of glass blowing to a small crowd in Marietta. The process involves placing molten glass into a furnace and gathering it onto a pipe before adding color and shaping it by blowing air into the pipe and rotating it. Wilson's company offers weekly classes on glass blowing, and he sells his creations on his website. 20-year-old Ben Dracup, who works with Wilson, is also majoring in glass blowing at Georgia Southwestern State University. Dracup says that Georgia Southwestern State is the only college in the state to offer a degree in glass blowing. Malik Antonio Rollins, a man from Austell, has been sentenced to 20 years in prison without parole for burglarizing 2 homes and molesting a young girl in one of them. He'll also serve 20 years probation and register as a sex offender. Rollins pleaded guilty to 2 counts of burglary, 1 count of aggravated child molestation, and 2 counts of child molestation. The crimes occurred on February 12th of 2021 when Rollins broke into 2 homes in South Cobb and molested a 12-year-old girl. The victim's mother spoke at Rollins' plea hearing and expressed the impact of the crime on her family. And now as we get closer to the start of the 2023 Masters, Times Journal Incorporated sports editor John Bednarowski joins the show to take us on a tour of Augusta National presented by Ingalls.
John, you've had as we talked about, you had the unique privilege of getting to play Augusta National. So what we're going to do now, and we're going to go through these holes, and let's get your impression having played Augusta National.
You get ready to play, and the first thing you do is you head out to the driving range, and they assign you a caddy. And my caddy was named David. And I got out there, and it's funny because when you have a real job like us,
right?
You don't get to play nearly as much golf as you'd like. And I had been out of practice. I think I'd played once or twice over the previous year and a half. So I'm out there, and the first thing I did is I looked at David and I said, all right, I'm going to apologize now. It's going to be the only time that I do.
Just get it out of the way.
Exactly. And, I got out there and I started warming up. And for some unknown reason, I was hitting the ball in the club face. So it's like, okay, I'm not getting my hopes up. But then I go over to the practice green, and we were able to use the tournament practice green to warm up. And I started rolling it. And if you can't put a good roll on those greens, there's something wrong.
Right.
And I quickly started to get a feel for the speed. And, if you haven't played golf in a long time, the first things that go are your touch and your short game.
Of course.
So I'm rolling the ball pretty good. And I'm like, okay. And then you get the call, okay, you guys are on the tee. So we get over to the first tee.
Were you nervous?
Oh, absolutely. And you get over to the first tee, and now, thank goodness we're not playing the tournament course.
Right.
Because I'd still be out there. But they have you play the membership tees. But still, you get out there, and the head pro is out there on the tee, starting everybody. You get pictures with your group, and there's a number of Augusta National players, and I don't know if they're members or staff or whatever, but they're out there to send you off. And the head pro puts his hand on my shoulder and says, "It's your honor." I'm going, oh great, I got to go first. So I put the peg in the ground. I get up there, and I tee off, and I look up, and I've hit just the nicest little, straight down the middle with just a little bit of a fade. It goes out there about 240, 250 yards. And it's like, I need to just go home now because it's not going to get any better.
Yeah, you jackpotted your first pull, so to speak.
So, off and running. And I start thinking, this is the same spot that Nicklaus and Palmer and Player and Watson and all those, all the greats. They're just one. And I'm just trying to soak it all in. And it was interesting because one of the gentlemen in my group had never before played a round of golf and got selected.
Wow.
And it was a former football player.
See, now, if I was out there, you wouldn't think I had either, but that's just how bad I am. Go ahead, sorry.
Well, this gentleman was a former football player from East Carolina, and he was doing East Carolina TV.
Okay.
And he gets out there. And, when you're a football player, or a baseball player, basketball player, there's athletic ability that comes into play in every instance, okay?
Yeah.
And now here's a ball that's not moving.
Right.
and they put a stick in your hand, and
with one flat side.
Yeah, and you know what happens when you take your first swing at a golf ball that you've ever done? It's you know
Right.
it can be very humbling.
It could be very humbling on your 1 millionth swing.
Well, you know, long story short, there eventually, by the time he got into the middle of the round, you know, eye-hand coordination was starting to catch up a little bit,
Sure.
and you know, he hit a couple of good shots and all that, and he did have time. But I sit there and I've always thought, it's like, okay, you've set the bar so high for the level of golf courses that you're playing. There's no way you can do any better than that. But anyway, I walked down the first fairway with my caddy, and my ball came to rest in the middle of the upslope, and I did not hit a good second shot, but it did go straight. So I had about 30 yards short of the green. And like I said, you know, if you don't play for a while, the short game's the first thing to go, right?
Right.
So I've got this little flip wedge that I'm trying to hit in there, and I know, you know, you could try to open the club face and take it in high and see if you can get it land. And I'm going, I know for a fact I haven't practiced enough to pull that off. So I hit a little pitching wedge, and I hit it into the slope, and the thing hops up, rolls to the top of the plateau, and stops about 6 feet behind the hole. And I'm going, who's playing this? I missed the putt and made 5,
Right.
But it was like, okay, that's acceptable. So, you know, then I head over to number 2. Number 2 is par 5 down the hill, dog leg left. And again, I get up there and I hit a good drive. And then I hit a 3-iron second shot down into the low part, down by the crosswalk where the fans will go across the fairway to get to the different holes. Now, the second hole, the green slopes from left to right, and it is drastic. And usually on Sunday, and in this case, the pin is tucked behind the bunker on the right-hand side. It's about 5 feet onto the green. Now, if you hit it in the right place, the slope will sit there and bring it all the way down to the hole. I'm hitting 8-iron in for my third shot, and I pull it just a little bit left. If I would have hit it where I wanted to, I think I would have gotten it on that slope where it would have carried it down. Instead, I stayed way up on top. I've got 50 feet, and it's Gary McCord, when he was calling golf for CBS Sports. When he first started, he was at the Memorial Tournament. He was up in the...
Best mustache ever, by the way.
Oh, yeah. He was up in the tower with Vern Lundquist, and Vern said, you know, they were on 16 at Memorial, and they've got a hill similar to that, but it's behind the green. And somebody had hit their ball up there, and Vern says, Gary, what's he got? He says, well, take a ball and chip it onto your driveway and see if you can get it to stop. You know, that's kind of the putt that I had. And now, one thing you learn very quickly is regardless of how good of a player you are, you're never going to read the Augusta National greens correctly.
Right.
And one of the things that I told David when I was out there is I used to be a good player. I mean, there was a time where I had my handicap down to 1 or 2. So I used to be a good player. I want to read the greens. And after I'm done reading the greens, then you're going to tell me where to putt the ball, because these guys have knowledge of,
sure,
like, unbelievable. So I think by the end of the round, I would have gotten about 4 greens correct. So he lines it up, and he says, he points to a spot about 15 feet in front of me, and I'm putting away from the hole, kind of up the hill. And he says, get it to roll over this spot, almost where you're dying it right there. I got up there, hit what I thought was a good putt. It rolled right over that spot, and it started trickling. And it rolled all the way around the back edge of the green, came all the way back down, to the hole, went by the hole. I had 4 feet coming back, and I made the putt for par.
Wow.
And again, that's when I should have walked off the golf course.
Yeah. Well, you were listening to John Bednarowski, the sports editor of the Marietta Daily Journal. John had the recent privilege of getting to play at Augusta National. And John, I just want to keep people up to date in case they're joining this somewhere past the beginning.
So I've started bogey par, and now I'm going to the third hole. Now, the third hole is a very short par 4. For the pros, it's about 350.
Right.
And, some pros are debating whether or not to try and drive the green. There's a big slope right in front of the green, which if you drive it into, I don't want to say it leaves you with a simple pitch shot. It probably is for them, but I mean it's the third green is almost like an L, and the pin is always on the left-hand side because it's very thin. Not very deep when you're hitting your approach shot. Well, I get up on the third tee, and I'm feeling really good about myself because I've started bogey par, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I can actually shoot a score, and I came back down to earth in a hurry. I hit my tee shot. I was in the fairway, and then my second shot, I had 6-iron in, and I hit it into the left-hand bunker. And some of the bunkers at Augusta National, and this one in this case, it's like you hit it at the base of a mountain, and then you're trying to get it out of the sand up over this. I mean, you're looking at 20 feet to get to the putting surface height. To get over the lip. And I left my first shot in the bunker. And the second one I got out, but it went considerably past the pin. And I 2-putted for my first double bogey of the day. So it's a humbling experience. All of a sudden you go from the high to, okay, I am not a professional golfer.
Right.
I'm a sports editor.
Right. It's a tough sport. No doubt about it. The votes are in. Now it's time to celebrate the 2023 Best of Cobb presented by Superior Plumbing at the Jim R. Miller Events Center in Marietta, Thursday, March 23rd. Best of Cobb is a celebration of Cobb's top businesses featuring live music, free samples from some of the county's best eateries, giveaways, and fun for the whole family. Head over to mdjonline.com today to buy your tickets. It's the Best of Cobb, Thursday, March 23rd from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Jim R. Miller Event Center in Marietta.
Are you struggling to find the right home in these tough markets? Hi, I'm Jeffrey Drake of Drake Realty, with 7 offices across Metro Atlanta and 2 right here in Cobb County. The real estate market in Cobb County can be competitive. That's why you need a team on your side. My team of over 700 agents is one of the biggest in the county, and we have been turning dreams into realities for 28 years now. Next time you decide to buy or sell in Cobb, trust the team that knows the lay of the land. Visit us online at drakerealty.com.
Thanks again for listening to today's Marietta Daily Journal Podcast. Did you know over 50% of Americans listen to podcasts weekly? Make sure you join us for our next episode and share this podcast on social media with your friends and family. You can find us on TikTok at MDJ Podcast, add us to your Alexa Flash Briefing or Google Home Briefing, and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group. Darren Sutherland, executive producer. Jacob Sutherland, director. Producers Jason Gentarola and Matt Golden. And Jinrei Zhang, video producer. All rights reserved.